Hey everyone, welcome back to the Movie Couple channel. I'm Dustin and this is my review for the live action adaptation of Lilo and Stitch. If you've seen the original Lilo and Stitch, the story will feel very familiar. Lilo is a spirited young girl in Hawaii, struggling to fit in, while her older sister Nani does her best to hold their small family together. When a strange creature crash lands on Earth, Lilo adopts him thinking he's a dog, naming him Stitch. But of course, Stitch is an escaped alien experiment and chaos quickly follows. As the story unfolds, it's all about family, ohana, and learning to accept even the weirdest among us. Going into this movie, I had a mixture of excitement and a little bit of trepidation because Disney so far has not been doing too well on their live action adaptations. Some of them have been kind of fun to watch, but most recently there have been a lot that have just really missed the mark. So even though I was excited from some of the promotional material like the trailers, the Super Bowl spot, and I loved what they were doing right before the movie came out, was the fact that they had all of these animatronic Stitches everywhere. The one popping out of the popcorn bucket, the one driving around in the pink little car, and it got me more and more excited. And then I started hearing some good word of mouth about this. So going into this movie, I was starting to be kind of hopefully optimistic on how this movie was going to turn out. And there's a lot of things that I really enjoyed about this movie. The first and foremost is the trio of Lilo, Nani, and Stitch. By far, this is the best thing about this movie. The girl that plays Lilo is absolutely adorable. She really does a good job on bringing the heart and soul of Lilo and just the adorableness of Lilo. I do wish that they kind of would have pushed a little bit more of kind of the weirdness of Lilo. They did take out some of my favorite scenes that Lilo does.
My friends need to be punished.
But Maya does an amazing job on just being adorable, heartwarming, and you can actually connect with her struggle of just wanting to have friends, wanting to belong, and feeling very much out of place ever since her parents died. Also, her sister Nani, they went very well together. There was many parts in the movie that you really did believe that they were sisters. There was this connection. I thought there were some very heartwarming moments when they're talking about their struggles, talking about trying to be a family, and it just made you really feel for these two characters. And of course, Chris Sanders returning as Stitch, or at least as the voice of Stitch, is what really makes this trio work together. It's the two sisters trying to find their place in the world, finding this lost dog, so to speak, and just going on this adventure with Stitch, and just Stitch causing chaos, but them also finding kind of this kindred spirit in someone who also is kind of lost and trying to find out who they really are and trying to find their own family and their own place. Something else that was also very impressive was the CGI on Stitch. I really liked they got some really good close-ups, and you can see like the details on the fur, and of course his big eyes I thought were just very well done. It brought just a lot of nostalgia, and that was something that they really needed to get right. Not just well, but needed to knock it out of the park. They really needed you to be able to bring the character of Stitch from the animation into real life. And I feel personally that they did a good job on doing that. Being able to have the detail, being able to have all of the movements and the voice that they had from the original being brought into real life, I think was done very well. Now, there were actually a lot of things that they did change in this adaptation, and some of them I kind of understood. One was for Jumba and Pleakley. I thought their dynamic was fun on and off, but I really feel that Pleakley was the one that really stood out. I feel that Zach Galifianakis wasn't quite the right fit for Jumba. Jumba is supposed to be this loud, boisterous, big, maniacal laugh kind of a character, mad scientist kind of vibe, and I feel like Zach Galifianakis kind of played him more as an arrogant kind of, how dare you insult my creations, I am a genius, and as opposed to being able to play him more of like a mad scientist that's a little crazy and kooky. I think Bill Magnuson actually played Plinkley very well. It hit it right on the head, and it really connected to the way that he was in the animation. Even though I feel like they kind of swept one part under the rug that I really wish that they would have focused on a little bit more. And that was the whole mosquito bit. I think they mentioned it like once. I was kind of expecting them to be able to take this joke a little bit further, kind of like how they did in the animated movie, but they kind of made this one little joke and just went on with the rest of the movie. There was one character change that actually got me a little upset, and that is what they did to Cobra Bubbles. I feel like Cobra was supposed to be this kind of like intimidating character at first, but then once you got to know him and once you got to kind of understand what where he came from and his little kind of secret backstory that you find out at the very end of the movie that they didn't put into the live action adaptation, it makes him feel just like this tough and intimidating guy with a heart of gold. And in this movie, I didn't really ever get that vibe from him. I feel like they really kind of shrank down his character a lot so that they could add another character to be the social worker. Miss Kikoa, I think that's how you pronounce her name. I forget how they said it in the movie, is actually played by Tina Carrera, who actually did the voice of Nani in the original movie. I mean, it was kind of cool as an Easter egg to have that in the movie, but I found her character to be completely unnecessary. I feel like you really could have given that part back to Cobra Bubbles as the social worker, and I think things would have worked out because then you could have spent more time with Bubbles and been able to have this nice little reveal at the end that they completely skipped over in the movie. There was also a few other moments in the movie where I feel like it was a little choppy and they had an idea of what they wanted to say and do, but then they took out some big chunks of either dialogue or explanation, and it didn't quite flow as well as I would have liked. I feel like the animated movie did more with less time. This movie actually does come up to an hour and 48 minutes. And the animated film is about an hour and 25 minutes. I feel like the animated movie did a lot more with a lot less time. So somehow they were adding things in there that weren't necessary, but yet still not quite getting their point across. So I found the pacing and the dialogue to sometimes be a little choppy and not very to the point. So with all of that said, I'm going to give you guys my rating because overall, even though Lilo and Stitch isn't Disney's best live action from animation adaptation, I still feel like this movie captured a lot of the heart and soul of the original animation movie. I also feel like the main characters, the ones that you had to get right, they did very well, of Lilo, Stitch, and Nani. And having those heartfelt moments of family, finding where you belong, finding your true friends, did land very well. Even though there were a lot of changes that they made that I didn't like, and there were some character choices that I feel were executed a lot better in the animated movie, I still had a lot of fun with this live action adaptation. So I'm going to give it a matinee it. So everyone, those are my thoughts on the live action version of Lilo and Stitch. What are your thoughts? Did you guys like it? Did you hate it? Did you love it? Are you somewhere in between? Don't forget to put your comments down in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.